Hello everyone to my another video tutorial that is based on the omics approaches which is most commonly used in plant biotechnology specifically for the crop improvement studies. So here we'll discuss about what are the different types of omics approaches and what kinds of techniques will involve in it to study the different biomolecules in the cell. Majorly here we discuss about the what is meant by genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics and metabolomics. In addition to this, IMS is also one of the important branch nowadays in plant biotechnology because in ionomics you study the total ion content of a cell or the tissue. Because this it is necessary because the whatever the ions are synthesized in the cells, it is important or they may get involved in the activation of various enzymes. They may get involved in the channeling of various molecules from one, for example, for cytoplasm to the various cell organelles. That's why ion mix is also much important like that of genomics, transcriptomics, metabolomics and proteomics. So here we'll see one by one. But before going to these all terminologies and discuss about what are the different tools will be useful in the identification of protein content, identification of gene sequence, identification of total mRNA content, identification of total metabolites present in the cell, we'll discuss about the what is the central dogma of molecular biology. So here in this diagram you can see that the DNA is here and the process of transcription in takes place, and through that the mRNA is synthesized in the cell, and from mRNA the protein is synthesized through the process of translation. So these basically two important processes are takes place in the cells, and these three different types of biomolecules will synthesize in the cell. DNA is synthesized through the process of replication. It go under the process of self-replication and DNA gets synthesized. And thereafter the transcription in takes place and then translation is takes place. And the synthesis of three different biomolecules, important biomolecules are takes place in the cell. So the study, when you study the DNA, it come under the genomics. In genomics, you study the DNA, you take a parental material as a DNA, you identify their sequence, you identify their what kinds of genes are present, what are the repeats are present, what are the transposable elements are present, what kinds of motif are present. Here you can identify under the genomic study using different kinds of tools we'll see in the later slides. But when you study at the level of mRNA, it come under the transcriptome. So whatever the mRNA, total mRNA content of an individual in a particular tissue in a particular time, it called as the transcriptomics. Because there is necessity to study the transcriptomics of an individual. Why? Whatever the DNA content is present in the particular cell, it is whether you isolate the DNA from seed, it is from seedling stage, it is from vegetative stage, it is from flowering stage, or it is from maturity stage. The DNA will not get changed. It is same whether it is isolated from shoot or root. But the RNA content will vary according to tissue, according to the growth stage of the plants. So it is necessary to identify their transcriptome content at a particular time in a particular tissue. That's why the concept is come out and it is called as the transcriptomics. Next to transcriptomics, the next level of study is proteomics. In this proteomics, you study the total protein complement of an cell. Means whatever the different types of protein is synthesized in a particular tissue at a particular time, you can study it with the help of different types of tools which is used in the proteomics. And next to proteomics, you can study the different metabolite profile, what kinds of metabolites are synthesized in the cell. That is called as the study of different metabolome profile of an individual. Because whatever the protein synthesized in the cell, and protein is nothing but the enzyme. It acts on the substrate, and after acting it on the substrate, that substrate is converted into the product. It involves the various steps in conversion, but lastly you get the product. So that this product may be protein, may be fatty acid, may be lipid. So the study of this product means it is called the study of metabolite profile of an individual. It is also necessary to identify the physiological state of an individual plant or in the particular cell. So that's why it is also as much important to study the metabolomes of an individual, and this study is called as metabolomics. So this is generals about the what is meant by genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, and metabolomics. We'll see one by one what are the branches of genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, which is useful in their study, and what kinds of tool will be available to study all these things. So first we'll discuss about the what is meant by genomics, what are the sub branches of genomics. The first branch of omics at or the first level of study of the individual is called as the genomics. Here the genomics is again divided into three different branches. First one is the structural genomics, second one is the functional genomics, and third one is the comparative genomics. In structural genomics, to identify the sequence, to identify the size of genome by using various next generation sequencing technologies which is available nowadays. Then you can identify the map position of that gene. You can identify the different types of repetitive sequences which is present throughout the genome of an individual. You may identify what kinds of motif and domains are also present in that genome. So this study is come under the structural genomics. The next branch is the functional genomics. This is the more important because you here in functional genomics you use the mRNA as a parental material. You identify the what are the different transcripts are synthesized in the cell from the DNA. You identify the function of that particular gene in the functional genomics or in the transcriptomics. And because why there is necessity to identify that transcript or their abundance in the cell, because you know that whatever the genes are present in the cell, most of the genes are regulated. Few of the genes are expressed throughout the life cycle of an individual, and that genes is known as the housekeeping genes. So beside this housekeeping gene, most of the genes are regulated, and that's why there is a necessity to study the transcript abundance in a particular tissue at a particular time, because whatever the DNA is present in the cell, it is constant throughout their growth cycle or growth stages. But the transcript abundance or the different types of mRNA is synthesized in a particular tissue at a particular time is vary according to their growth stages, according to their growth condition. That's why there is necessity to study the transcriptome of an individual, and that is come under the functional genomics. And next level of study is the comparative genomics. In this you can compare the more than two different individual genomes to identify their or to compare their size of the genome, to identify the repetitive sequences, to identify the various types of transposable elements, or to in comparison with the different open reading friends which are present in the different individuals, or what kinds of genomic organizations of the different individuals, what kinds of differences were observed and what kinds of similarity were observed in the two or more individual genome sequences. That could be generally done using the various bioinformatics tools. So here we'll see what are the different types of tools is available to study the structure of genome, to study the function of genome, to compare the two or more different genomes. First we'll see about the structural genomics. In structural genomics, various kinds of next generation sequencing technologies are available, which includes the ABI Solid, Illumina, Roche 454, pyrosequencing, MSPET. So all this next generation sequencing technology is useful in identification of the genome sequence, in annotating that genome sequence, identifying the exons, introns present in the sequence. So all these things will be done with the help of these various NGS technologies. Next, come to the functional genomics. In functional genomics, you study the transcriptome of an individual. You compare the transcriptome profile of an individual, means you study the expression analysis of an different individual or a single individual at different their growth stages. For that, you can use RT-PCR, that semi-quantitative RT-PCR or qPCR. Some of the hybridization based technique is also useful in identification of particular transcript abundance or the what kinds of mRNA are synthesized in that particular tissue. Then most commonly used method at commercial level is the microarray. And next one is the SAGE, MPSS, CAGE, ChIP. These all are the most commonly used method to identify the transcriptome and to identify the transcript abundance also in the particular tissues. And third one important is the comparative genomics, which is generally carried out with the help of various bioinformatics tools. And you can study the synteny or similarity and the differences between the different two or more individual genomes. So all these tools is useful in the identification of genetic structure, genetic various kinds of transcript, their abundance, and you can also compare the genome of two or more individuals. If you're interested in identifying the uh, sequence similarity and differences, what kinds of differences are present in that, so it can be carried out with the help of comparative genomics. The name itself give an idea about the what is meant by structural genomics, what is meant by functional genomics, and what is meant by comparative genomics. So this is all about the genomics. Next important branch of omics which is used in the plant biotechnology most commonly is the proteomics. This is the next step from the genomics. Here is necessity to also necessity to study the protein complement of an individual. And the aim of proteomics, here I enlisted some of the aims. You can detect the different protein expression of tissue in the whatever the plant is present in their native state, or you can identify their protein complement or different types of what kinds of proteins are synthesized when cell is under the growing stage, or when you do the cell culture of a particular tissues. So next important aim of proteomics study, you can compare the expression pattern between the healthy versus disease cell. Similarly, you can identify the different types of transcript also in the disease cell and the healthy cell in the transcriptomic study. It is generally done with the help of microarray in the transcriptomics. Similarly, here in proteomics, you can also identify the protein, what kinds of protein is produced in the healthy cell and what kinds of protein is produced in the infected cells. You can compare the proteome of these two different types of cell that can be helpful in the diagnosis of that particular disease. And third one important aim is you can identify what kinds of pathway is regulated by what kinds of proteins is involved in that pathway. And lastly, you can also study the protein-protein interaction. It is one of the most important study in the proteomics, because whatever the proteins are present in the cell, it may get interact with each other. There are some protein complexes are present in cell because they interact with each other with the help of various interactions, various hydrogen bonds, various types of hydrophobic interactions will takes place in that between the group of proteins, and that result in the modification of some of the protein. Means one protein may get modify the function of another protein, may get modify certain property of another protein. That's why in under proteomics it is also important to identify, to study the different types of protein interaction. And for that, different types of tools and techniques can be used. The most commonly used technique I enlisted here. The page, all of you know that polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. Next one is isoelectric focusing, array-based proteomics, mass spectrometers. Various mass spectrometers are available which could be used. Then MALDI with extension with the TOF, that is time of flight, may useful, very much useful technique. And next is the hybrid system and FRET are also used. These two techniques and one of also technique, that is co-immunoprecipitation, are not listed here. These three techniques are mostly used in the PPI study, means protein-protein interaction study, which is more commonly used, because here in this technique you can check the interaction between the two or more proteins, so that it will helpful in the identification of unknown protein function. That's why this is also important in the proteomics study. Here the best concept is I have put it here. Here in first diagram you see that here is the genome, and here is the proteins which is synthesized from this genome. You see here the figure, it is very much less. It is near about 25 to 25,000 genes are present in the in this genome. Suppose one individual is there and their genome contain the 20 to 25,000 genes. For example, in Arabidopsis as like near about 25,000 genes are present. And here you can see that this arrow will go in upward direction. Means this arrow is tell about the protein complexity and why there is need of proteomics study. Because whatever the genes are present in that individual, say for example 25,000 genes are present in the one individual, and these genes will go through the process of alternative splicing. I am not explaining here the alternative splicing. Hope that you already know that. Uh, because of this alternative splicing, so many transcripts are produced from a single gene, and from this transcript you may find out more number of protein, because this transcript may go under the process of post translational modifications. And because of these modifications, from this few of, suppose this is the 5 transcript, you may get the 10 different types of protein, 15 different types of protein, because of the post-translational modification. So because of these two important reasons, that first one is the alternative splicing and another one is the post-translational modifications, whatever the number of genes present in the individuals, from that genes, total number of genes, you get a large number of proteins. Means the complexity of protein is increased. Here you can see the number is 25,000 and you see the figure is too much larger than as compared to this 25,000 genes. So there is a necessity to understand the proteome complexity with the help of various proteomics techniques. So basically this study of proteomics is divided into three different branches. First one is the structural proteomics, second one is the expression proteomics, and third one is the interaction proteomics. In structural proteomics, you can identify the 3D structure of the protein. You do the 3D modeling of the protein with the help of various tools. First one important tools to identify the 3D structure of protein is the homology modeling. It is one of the bioinformatics tools totally based on the in silico study. So many databases are available, but most easy and commonly used database or portal is the XFASI. And at XFASI portal, you can find out the Swiss model. And using that Swiss model, you can easily identify the 3D protein structure or the 3D modeling of the protein. So this is come under the structural proteomics. And another important technique which is used, that is one of the in vitro technique, which is used to identify the 3D structure of protein is the X-ray crystallography. Most of the near about 95% protein which is predicted or identified till date, it is identified with the help of X-ray crystallography. It is somewhat costly and time consuming technique. That's why nowadays homology modeling, that is totally based on the bioinformatics activity, is used to identify, to predict or to determine the 3D structure of the protein. Next one important branch is the expression proteomics. In expression proteomics, you can identify the expression abundance of that particular protein and their function also you can identify in the expression proteomics. And third one and last one proteomics branch is interaction proteomics. In interaction proteomics, you can identify the different types of interaction, different types of PPIs, as I already told in the previous slides, that is to hybrid system, FRET, that is fluorescence resonance energy transfer, and co-immunoprecipitation. These are the three most commonly used techniques to study the protein-protein interaction, because the protein are interact with each other. Suppose for example one pathway is there, suppose the glycolysis is there, and in glycolysis several enzyme means the proteins are involved in the process of conversion of one compound into next and next into the third into the fourth compound. So this group of enzyme, this group of protein which is involved in particular pathway, you can identify these with the help of interaction between them, because this protein has a similar function, so it interact with each other, it come in one group, and it is easily pulled down with the help of like the technique is co-immunoprecipitation. It is most commonly used, and this is one of the best advantage of that technique. You can identify the whole group of that protein complex which is involved in particular metabolic pathway. So this is all about the proteomics and different types of proteomics techniques involved in to study the protein complement of an individual. Third one important branch of omics to study is the metabolomics. In metabolomics, you identify the physiological state of an individual or a particular tissue. For example, leaf. In leaf, you want to identify what kinds of metabolites right now are synthesized, or what kind of metabolic pathway is active right now in the cell. So this study is carried out with the help of metabolomics. So there are so many separation techniques and detection techniques is available to study this physiological state of an individual or to identify different metabolites which is present in the cell. In crop improvement, it is much more also important, because if you are spraying certain pesticides, fungicides on the plant, this is an external stimuli and that have the effect on the cell, and because of that the different kinds of metabolites are synthesized in the cell. So what kind of metabolite are synthesized against that external stimuli, for example, pesticides or fungicides you are spraying on the plants, this would be studied with the help of these various kinds of metabolomics techniques, specifically for the separation of particular compound from a biological tissue. The certain techniques are used which include the HPLC, UPLC, GC, that is capillary electrophoresis, gas chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, etc. And to detect that particular compound, the various detection methods are also available. Means this separation method, the extension is provided with this. You can automatically detect that particular compound, your targeted compound. Here HPLC-MS, LC-MS, GC-MS, MALDI with top extension will be helpful in the identification of such compounds, and SIMS. So all these separation and detection methods will be helpful in the metabolomics study, because each individual have their own metabolite profile. So to identify, to compare the metabolite profile between the two or more individuals, you can use this technique, you can use these separation methods and detection methods to identify to understand what is the different biological compounds, that may be protein, lipid, fatty acids are synthesized in the particular tissue. It is studied with the help of metabolomics. So this is all about the genomics, proteomics, and metabolomics. And as I already told that IMX is also one of the important branch nowadays in the plant biotechnology to study the ions, because mineral ions are also play an important role in the various regulatory pathways. So that it is also as much as important that of the genomics, proteomics, and metabolomics. So hope that you understand all about the genomics, proteomics, and metabolomics, and what does it mean, what are the different tools or techniques is used to identification of that DNA sequences, transcript abundance, then protein complex, protein complements in a cell, and various kinds of metabolomics. So hope that you understand all this, and thank you so much.